Happy after work story and happy Thursday. Juno at the sun? Or jump. Look like a O. Jump at the sun. Okay, well, we need some sunshine right now. Hopefully it's in your heart. It's kind of cloudy, but it's beautiful yellow. Okay, the true life tale of unstoppable story catcher Zora Neale Hurston. Okay, this should be interesting. At least my sweater matches the sunshine. And this is by Alicia D. Williams, who is a Newbery honoree, and illustrated by Jacqueline Alcantara. Let's see. Oh, look at this. Oh, she was a hard worker. And this is perfect, like I said, to end Women's History Month, the second to last day. Okay, jump at the sun. Zora was a girl who hankered for tales like bees for honey. Now, her mama always told her that if she wanted something, to jump at the sun. Okay, that's with a D-E. Because even though Zora might not land quite that high, at least she got off the ground. I like that. And Zora jumped to Joe Clark's General Store to listen to tales and Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox, to Howard University, where she decided she'd be a famous writer, to Harlem and New York City to make that dream come true. And everywhere she landed, Zora shone sunlight on the tales most folks hadn't even bothered to listen to until Zora. All right, talking about some dreams here, some goals. It seems like it's going to be inspiring. Jump at the sun, the unstoppable story catcher. Are you unstoppable? Do you have some goals? You still can reach them. Look at this. Oh, some animals running and jumping. In a town called Eatonville, a place where magnolias smelled even prettier than they looked. Oranges were as sweet as they were plump, and the people just plain old got along. Lived a girl who was attracted to tales like mosquitoes to skin. Zora was her name. It's a pretty name. And that's a nice start. Zora got to loving tales from hearing the townsfolk swap stories at Joe Clark's General Store. Yeah, that's a true gift, to be able to share narratives. Oftentimes, Mama sent her over to fetch a little sugar or salt, and Zora would stall. Make a 10-minute errand last an hour. Look at her. Just to overhear tales like how that trickster Brer Rabbit always got the best of Brer Fox. Only thing pulled her away was Mama calling. She was intrigued. Let me tell y'all how come we got squinch owls. You know, old master had an old maid sister that never been married. That's the reason the dog is mad wild, the rabbit now. 'Cause he fooled the dog. Y'all been telling and lying about these varmints, but you ain't yet spoke about the high chief boss of all the world, which is the lion. He's talking smack. Look at that. Look at that. Just having a good time. Beautiful illustrations. When there were no errands to run and Zora couldn't get an earful of tales, she'd make up her own. She'd fashion dolls from scraps she found. A loose doorknob became Reverend Doorknob. The Do Not Touch Pears scented soap was carved into Mr. Sweet Smell. Ears of corn were hewed into Miss Corn Shuck and Miss Corn Cob. Zora had stories to tell, and stories needed characters. Hello, Reverend Doorknob. Smelling good, Mr. Sweet Smell. Thank you kindly. Hello to you, Miss Cornshuck. I can remember when I was younger, I had a story series and I illustrated, and the family's name was the Pryors. And there's a Valerie Pryor, a Maurice Pryor, a Jill, because I like that name, Jill, Valerie, Dorothy, Judy Pryor. Had an imagination, and yeah, it would just be a cartoon, and I would just have stories, episodes. I wish I didn't throw those away. I might still have some. And when Mama sent Zora and her stories out of the house, Zora perched herself atop their gate post, calling out to travelers, "Don't you want me to go a piece of the way with you?" If a car stopped, Zora climbed right in. Now, I never did that now. She'd have those people laughing like she was storytelling on Joe Clark's porch herself. Then, half a mile or so later, she'd hop out and stroll on home. So she just like listening. She's inquisitive. Now look at this. Now back then, some folks called storytelling telling lies. Right? Don't tell a story. And if Zora's preaching papa got home from church and caught her spouting them, he'd give chase lightning quick. Even Zora's grandma aimed to sting her backside, but never could. Not with Mama's arms stretched wide as tree limbs. Truth was, Mama approved of Zora's storytelling. She didn't fancy the idea of her children tilling land, so she encouraged Zora to jump at the sun. You might not land on the sun, but at least you'd get off the ground. Hey! Look at this. I love Southern stories like this. Old-fashioned nature. Look at them beautiful plump oranges. Oh. Well, fact is, Zora clung to those words tighter than Br'er Fox would have clung to Br'er Rabbit if he'd ever been able to catch him. Zora needed him too, because one day Mama got herself a chest cold that wouldn't get better. Oh no, she's sick. Then one September evening, Mama closed her eyes for the last time. Zora and her sister and brothers were so sobbing-hearted that even the house seemed to mourn. Yeah. 2 days later, Zora's only sister and an older brother headed back to school. Papa was already on the road preaching. His boys seemed manageable, but his tale-telling girl was too much for him to worry about. So 2 weeks after the funeral, he shipped Zora off to Florida Baptist Academy boarding school. Wow. That's tough. Losing your mother and then going to a new place. Oh. Yeah. She was a young lady. Zora dug her nose in books, intent on reaching the sun. Yes, it was what Mama had always taught her to do. After all, reach for the sun. Keep on. Then her papa got a new wife who was stingier than a peacock. Uh-oh. Zora's stepmother tight-fisted their money. School fees went unpaid. And back to Eatonville, Zora went. Oh, no. That's all right. To hear Zora tell it, back home, the walls were gummy with gloom, with her little brothers in ragged, dirty clothes. This was wrong, and Zora made it known. Fussing and fighting commenced from the kitchen to the gatepost. Finally, her stepmother pointed to the door. Oh, whoa. And out stumped 14-year-old Zora down the dusty road. That's a tough age. And it's really hard to have, well, now we call them mother-in-laws and, bonus mothers and bonus dads, but don't get along with them all the time. Though friends spared a pallet for sleeping, okay, that means they opened their doors so she could sleep and stay there. There wasn't time for Zora to be pondering the capers of Br'er Rabbit. She had to earn her keep. Oh my goodness, 14? But she was better at storytelling than holding a job. She was fired from maid jobs for reading the employer's books instead of cleaning, because she just loved literature. She up and quit babysitting her oldest brother's children. when he quit on his promise to let her go back to school. For 12 long years, she traveled from job to job, from Florida to Baltimore, in and out of schools. Zora was miserable, except for when she spooned out Eatonville trickster tales to whoever sop 'em up. And sakes alive, folks were hungry. The sun, however, was greeting antsy. The sun, however, was getting antsy, waiting on Zora. So she called down saying, "Ain't you supposed to be meeting me up here?" Reckon Zora was getting antsy too. How was Zora to jump all the way to Old Big Yellow by doing what made her happiest? And Zora was happiest at school and hearing those stories. What makes you the happiest? Think about that. What 3 things make you the happiest? Oh, I named my 3. Yeah. Ooh, I have 4. 5. Well, in Baltimore, 26-year-olds couldn't go to public school for free. So Zora told a tale of her own. She chopped her age to 16, then plunked herself down in a high school classroom. Even though she had a lot less money than the other students, Zora walked through the halls like her shoes were lined with gold. That girl was back in school. Woo-wee! Look at that. She was almost 10 years older. But that's all right. Yeah. The sun waited patiently for 2 more years.